You sit down to write, or sketch, or start that big idea, and then nothing. Just a blank page staring back at you. Why is it so hard to start? Why does a clean white screen feel so terrifying? Think back to the last time you faced a truly blank slate. Maybe it was a new document, an empty canvas, a business plan you had to start, or even just a quiet moment with your own thoughts. What did that blankness make you feel? You're not lazy. You're not untalented. This isn't just writer's block. For many of us, that feeling isn't one of peaceful possibility, but something closer to dread. That empty space can feel strangely heavy, filled with a silent pressure. In our last video, we explored humanity's long and fascinating struggle with the concept of zero, with nothingness itself. And it turns out that ancient unease with the void is deeply connected to why our modern brains often hate a blank page. Think about it. For centuries, the concept of zero was a philosophical and mathematical battle. It felt like something that shouldn't exist, a void that disrupted the order of things. Even the ancient Greeks, masters of logic, struggled to fully embrace it. That historical discomfort with literal nothingness laid the groundwork for how our brains now react to figurative nothingness. That blank page, in a way, is a void. It's an absence of structure, of accomplishment, of even something to react against. Our brains are pattern-seeking machines. They thrive on information, on structure, on the familiar. A blank page offers none of that. It's a realm of infinite possibilities, which, paradoxically, can feel incredibly threatening. It forces us to create something from absolutely nothing, echoing that ancient challenge of understanding zero itself. It's a deeper kind of discomfort, a fear of potential, of judgment, of failure. In fact, your brain is wired to resist the blank page. Today, we're diving into the psychology of creation paralysis and why doing nothing can feel so much harder than doing something. Let's unpack the fear of nothing. So, what are the specific psychological drivers behind this fear of nothing when it comes to starting? There are several key factors at play. Firstly, there's loss aversion. Our brains are wired to avoid losses more strongly than they seek gains. When faced with a blank page, we subconsciously focus on what we might lose: time, effort, the potential for failure, the feeling of not meeting our own expectations. Secondly, there's the fear of failure. That blank page represents a potential outcome, and our anxiety about that outcome being negative can freeze us before we even begin. It's safer, in a twisted way, to not start than to risk failing. And thirdly, we have the spotlight effect, a cognitive bias where we overestimate how much others are paying attention to us. When we start something new, we can feel like all eyes are on our initial, likely imperfect attempts. That pressure to be instantly good can be paralyzing. Do you know that your brain hates ambiguity? To your brain, a blank page is not just empty, it's uncertain. There's no structure, no rules, no feedback. Psychologists call this cognitive ambiguity. Situations with no clear path forward, and our brains hate it. We evolved to prefer predictability. In uncertain environments, early humans didn't get a second chance. Ambiguity could mean danger. So over time, our minds developed a bias. If you don't know what to do, don't do anything. Unfortunately, creativity requires ambiguity. It's open-ended, messy, unclear. Exactly the kind of thing our brains want to avoid. That's why starting is the hardest part, because it triggers a primal discomfort, the need to avoid unknown outcomes. There's also perfectionism, the voice in your head whispering, "Don't write until it's good. Don't start until you know exactly what to do. What if it sucks?" This is called evaluation apprehension. the fear of being judged, even by your future self. And when the page is blank, everything is still perfect in your head. No typos, no bad sentences, no dumb ideas. The moment you begin, you create something that could fall short, and that's scary. So what do we do instead? We delay, we scroll, we reorganize our desk. Psychologists call this structured procrastination, doing small things to avoid the big, emotionally risky thing.
We also have the neuroscience of avoidance.
Let's get a little nerdy for a second. When you face an open-ended creative task, your brain lights up in areas responsible for risk detection, especially the amygdala, your fear center. Meanwhile, your prefrontal cortex, the decision maker, gets overwhelmed with possibility. Too many choices equals analysis paralysis. So, your brain looks for relief, and that's where dopamine distractions come in. Checking your phone, rechecking email, suddenly cleaning your keyboard. That's dopamine, the brain's feel-good chemical, offering you a quick escape from discomfort. But the more you escape the blank page, the more powerful its fear becomes. You wouldn't believe this, but there's a question: why constraints unlock creativity?
Here's the good news. The solution isn't try harder, it's trick your brain. Psychologists have found that constraints reduce anxiety and boost creativity. Give yourself a deadline, a word count, a silly challenge. Write the worst opening line possible. Draw with your non-dominant hand. Start with the middle, not the beginning. When the page is no longer completely blank, your brain relaxes. It doesn't need to protect you anymore because you're already in motion. This is called the Zeigarnik effect. Once we start something, our brain wants to finish it. So don't aim for brilliance, aim for momentum.
Like humanity eventually embraced the seemingly paradoxical idea of zero and unlocked incredible progress, we too can learn to navigate the fear of nothing that the blank page evokes. Understanding that this fear has deep psychological roots and even historical parallels is the first step. It reminds us that this isn't just laziness or a lack of willpower, it's a fundamental way our brains are wired. And just as the acceptance of zero allowed for a more complete understanding of mathematics and the world around us, overcoming our fear of the blank page unlocks our potential for creativity, innovation, and progress in our own lives. We can redefining the blank page. Here's the twist. The blank page isn't your enemy. It's your mirror. It reflects your fears, your perfectionism, your hopes, all at once. But it's also a space of infinite freedom. That's not terrifying. That's sacred. So next time you're staring into the void, remember this. You're not avoiding the work. You're confronting yourself. And that's brave.
If this hit home, tell us in the comments. What's your trick for getting past the blank page? Enjoyed the video? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more.